talk to the legends of the creative and entertainment industries. We talk to those on the rise. Lance Dean Anthony Nielsen asks about the highs, the lows, and everything in between. This is Outcast Creative, and this is Industry Interviews.
Hello, welcome to Industry Interview 68. Can you believe I started these in July 2 years ago and we're already on number 68. I've got two more booked already. Three, actually, because I just booked another one 10 minutes ago. So we'll be in 71 by the first week of August. So my guest tonight is a very, very special woman indeed, exceptionally talented actress, now diversifying into directing, producing, writing, and all things that come along with that. I've followed this woman's career since 2006. We haven't got masses of time tonight. She is going to come back again when her film comes out. So let's just dive in quickly and see a couple of clips of the acting talent of the amazing Nicki Micheaux.
Dan here. Oh, God. He needs an operation, like, real bad. It's so scary. His condition, it's so serious. And I don't want to lose him. It's just that time's run out. And if you're certain that she's a match, and since there's no other option for us, then yeah, do it. Take my daughter's kidney.
Man of action that I am, I put it all in motion as soon as I received your frantic call. You know?
Oh, don't throw that away. Just leave that right there. I rinsed it out. I reused them.
Okay. Well, as you can see from the medical record, your daughter is a perfect match for your husband. Same blood type, HLA typing, eye color, favorite jelly beans, carpet, drapes. I'm kidding. But, you couldn't ask for a better setup, medically speaking.
Why is Kaylee helping us with this? She hasn't even met us.
You and Dan are still her birth parents. She's a good kid.
It's only because our backs are against the wall on this thing.
That's enough for that now, Dad. You have to forgive us, son. We haven't had anybody coming around asking about Aretha in years, so.
A mistake we're here to remedy.
It's about that girl in Central Park. It's not her, is it?
We're not sure.
She was wearing overalls. Blue ones.
Ross. And a watch. Do you recognize that?
They gave her a watch that looked just like that for a good report card. Who did this to my baby?
We are so sorry for your loss.
She's been in the water all this time. All alone?
We're gonna get through this, Cora.
I want my daughter's remains. I want to bury her. Just put my baby to rest.
Look, boo, the cops are after us. Maybe we should just bounce on out of here.
I don't get my paper till the snitch starts leaking. It's on. Go! What the hell you doing?
You could hook him up. Thanks.
At least your stuff was good. Okay.
Oh, a little worse for the wear, but I was never the Miss America type. I had to do some coke to keep my cover.
I'll put an injury on duty for you. Do you need to see a doctor?
I should get checked out for STDs. Get the morning after pill.
Son of a bitch.
Well, if you feel that you need to talk to somebody.
I put a guy out of the murder business. I'm okay.
Possibly one of the best shows written for television ever, The Shield. And as you know, we're going to be doing a full breakdown of that show on the channel starting in September. Without any further delay, I said your surname wrong again, didn't I? I'm so sorry.
That's all right. But oh my God, that was
that
Micheaux.
Micheaux? And that's like going back to school watching that, probably.
That was pretty. Oh my God, that was fun. Well, that Shield clip, those are voiceover dubs. There's something wrong with the audio track because it's like all up an octave or something. But
yeah, do you know what? When I was editing that on the reel, I noticed that, and because what I actually did was I cut some bits out of that scene to make it shorter, and I thought, oh my God, I've made it go out of sync, so let me do it again. And I didn't make those cuts, and I looked at it again, and it's not quite. It's slightly out, isn't it? Slightly out, but you know.
No, it sounds like an overdub, but man, that was really great to watch. The Shield was an amazing show to work on. Low Life was a really fun movie. I mean, just wow, really good stuff. Thank you. That was awesome, Lance.
Well, look, I'm so pleased to finally have you on the show. First of all, it means a lot to me that you've given up your time. I know you haven't got loads today, but you've said you'll come back, which is great. But it means a lot to me that you've given up your time to come on and support what I'm doing as well. Followed your work for a really long time, and I think the reason that you caught my attention in The Shield was, although you were a recurring guest character and you were playing against people that had massive storylines and big scenes, you really stood out. You really made your mark. And what was great about that character was on the first thing I ever saw you in, you got to show amazing range because you were playing not only the part of Trish, but I saw you play 3 different other characters as her while she's going undercover.
Yeah.
I did originally on that reel have a clip of the sort of drug dealing mum who's selling off her children to that gangster, but I decided to cut that clip out because of some of the language used. And I mean, that's a twisted storyline of itself, but what a great part to sort of really show your stuff. And it is still one of the best cop dramas ever made for television.
Yeah.
Often sort of unfair that it came out the same year as The Wire, and I feel because of that it kind of got a bit overlooked.
I wouldn't say so. I mean, The Shield it's lasting. People are still talking about The Shield. I mean, so many people have branched off from The Shield and done so well with their careers. I mean, so it was landmark television. I mean, my God, they had the season with Glenn Close, with Forrest Whitaker. I mean, it was landmark television. It was. Honestly, I feel very, very lucky and blessed to have been able to do shows like that that have had an impact and were just kind of like lightning in a bottle. Just really fun. I can't wait for the next type of show like that.
I was going to say, I don't think that show could get made today with sort of social and political sensibility. It's so on the nose and in your face. And I mean, I personally feel they should be making dramas like that today because
there's so much TV out there. It's hard to know because there's so much out there that we don't even know about because there's like hundreds and hundreds of shows now. I would imagine there might be something out there, but it's harder for a show like that to get eyeballs today.
Yeah. It was made at a time before streaming, so different kind of exposure. Let's go back to your career. Much as I'd love to talk about The Shield all night, I'm just going to ask you some really quick questions. Just give me the first answer that comes into your head. No right or wrong answer. Name the first film you saw at the cinema when you were young.
Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Oh, what a great choice. What was the last movie you saw at the cinema?
What was the last movie I saw? What was that movie? I just saw it. God dang it. It wasn't Twisters.
I was going to say Twister. We can come back to that.
I literally can't remember. Jesus, that's that. That's gonna bug me that I can't remember the last movie I saw. I know what I.
Tell me if it comes back to you. Tell me a favorite film that you normally watch at least once a year. You'll whack on the DVD.
Oh,
you know,
The Matrix.
Okay, that's a good choice. American actor or actress that you'd really love to work with that you haven't worked with yet.
Denzel Washington.
Okay, another good choice.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a television show, not one that you've been in,
Okay.
but one that you've seen where you've gone, oh yeah, wow, I'd like to be in something like that.
Snowfall.
Ah, yeah, that's so good.
Amazing.
I love the changing titles in that movie. The way the titles disintegrate and denote what's going on that season. So
and
clever.
Every season it changes. I mean, amazing.
Fantastic answers to those questions. So, I mean, it all started for you. You're from Detroit originally.
Yeah.
The only time I'd ever heard about that city was in a comedy line in a movie called Kentucky Fried Movie, where they say, "Take him to Detroit." I never saw that film. It's like a punishment in the
yeah.
That's the first time I'd ever heard of Detroit. Second time I ever heard of it was in the first Beverly Hills Cop movie. It's quite a sort of an industrial car manufacturing, sort of blue collar
totally.
city. And you're an army brat kid, so you probably moved about a bit.
I moved about a lot. So I was born there, and then we moved about quite a bit. And finally, we kind of settled in Houston, which is where I graduated high school.
Right. Mm-hmm. I was actually in Houston two summers ago, so did the whole Dealey Plaza thing. Where did it start for you? How did it begin? Did you have someone? Yeah, did you have someone who influenced you when you were young? Was there a key figure or?
It's funny. I think I was probably influenced by the famed TV show.
Oh yeah.
Debbie Allen and
Leroy.
Yeah, I really wanted to go to the High School Performing Arts in Houston, but I couldn't go. I lived in the suburbs, so I was like in the Jewish Community Center play, trying to do stuff. And when I went to college, I had no intention of acting. I was just going to college, and I took an acting class for an easy A, and I was a pre-med major. And the first day, one of the earlier days in class, we presented our first monologue. And when I did my first monologue on stage, it was over. Like, I locked into the character, and I had this kind of out of body experience, and you just are so in tune with the character's wants and needs, and you can feel the energy of the audience. We were in a black box theater. That's how we got to perform our monologues. And it was over for me. Like, I have spent my entire career chasing those moments, and that is, I changed everything. I changed my entire life.
Do you remember what that first monologue was?
Nope, I do not.
Okay,
I do not.
That'll come back to you the same time as you remember the last.
Yeah, well, I don't know if I remember that one. I might remember that monologue. I do know some early plays that I did. Like, I did a short play. Oh crap! I'm going to forget everything now. Please don't ask me questions.
No, that's all right. It's only an interview. Don't panic. It's not like we're live or anything. It's all good. Don't worry. My sense of humor will get you through. You'll be fine.
Okay.
You've done quite a bit of theatre as well, and I had a good search for that online. But I couldn't. There's not a lot about your theatre career to be.
Well, that's because I did everything early, and then by the time. Because I moved to LA. I didn't move to New York. I moved to LA, and I did theater here in town in Los Angeles. I was part of a theater ensemble group. I think my last show I did was Electra. I played Electra, and then I booked 6 Feet Under, and literally I never stopped working.
Right.
I didn't stop working until I had kids and was on Lincoln Heights, and the show got canceled. And I was working from 6 Feet Under to Lincoln Heights, and it was only because I had kids that I stopped. And I don't mean stop like there was just that I allowed myself to take a pause, and that was like baby number 2.
Oh. Yeah. What would you? I mean, this is a question I always like to ask my guests, but if you feel it's personal, please don't feel obliged to answer.
Okay, Lance.
What's the biggest challenge you've found between balancing work-life balance with? Because this industry doesn't take it doesn't have a great record of people having fantastic relationships
Yeah.
Let alone dating people within the industry. Just
Yeah.
maintaining one outside of that is quite difficult. The job, the nature of the job itself, you can be away from home abruptly for long periods of time.
Yep.
Long-suffering partners, you kind of hear that phrase quite a bit. Do you have an answer to the secret of how to survive that?
I think, I've had my own challenges, my own failures. I think that the main thing is you really have to put your family first and kind of collectively decide this is going to be the balance. This is what we're going to give. This is what we're going to give up, and decide together so that everybody going in goes, okay, this is what we're going to do. I mean, when I was married and I started, it was weird because when I got married, and we were dating, I really wasn't working that much. And then the minute we got married, I think I booked soul food, and then I was in Canada, and it was wild because all of a sudden I was traveling and working, and I just never had a career like that. And so it was brand new. And I remember we had to kind of figure it out on the go because it had never happened to me before. And then, but it's really important when you have kids, because like I had the kids, and then I kind of took a little bit of break. The show was canceled, and I was in this little bit of a funk period, just really focusing on the kids and not worried so much about work. But eventually when I did go back to work,
that was after the cancellation of Lincoln Heights, right?
Yeah, off of the cancellation of Lincoln Heights. And eventually, and then, I was divorced at the same time.
Oh,
so now when I went back to
work,
yeah, no. And so when I went back to work, now I was a single mom. And so traveling to Canada now to work, and it was definitely a challenge. So the only thing I can say is, I would put my family first and kind of pick the jobs that work around your schedule, or create the jobs that you need to have to work around your schedule. It's one of the reasons why I'm such a big believer in creating your own career, creating your own content, so that you can define how you work. Because this industry will take every ounce of blood and soul you have, and you'll be a carcass on the sidewalk that they'll step over. That's what they'll do.
I'm very aware of this. I have firsthand experience knowledge of being that carcass.
And if you don't define it for yourself, I mean, I remember one of the biggest jobs I gave up. True story. I was up for a pilot that Steven Spielberg was producing, and I don't think it was a series. I'm sure it wasn't a series regular. It was a recurring character, but it's a great character. It's a great
science fiction one.
I don't even remember the show. All I remember is it was a couple things were happening. My father was in the hospital. My father died right around the time I got married, so all this was happening at the same time. It was crazy. So my father's in the hospital, and I had just gotten married. My father's in the hospital. He's dying of cancer. And they want me to come do this. I can't remember which tragedy it was. Was it the wedding that they wanted me to move, or my dad died? I think it was with the wedding. So it was the wedding. And the casting office literally called to ask, would I change my wedding date for the job? And I was like, this was a job that they had not offered me yet. Keep that in mind. I didn't actually have the job.
It must have resulted in an interesting conversation with your then husband. I can't begin to imagine.
So I was like, no, I'm not going to change my wedding date. I'm going to go get married. Thank you. But it wasn't even an offer. It wasn't even an offer. And it was just stuff like that. You just have to make, Susan Sarandon said something that I always remembered. She talked about how early in her career, she traveled, she chose herself, and she lived her life, and she had a career. And I remember her saying this, the empowerment she gave herself. And that's what we have to do as artists, is we have to choose us. You got to choose yourself. And of course you're not going to get every job, but you don't need every job. And it's just about crafting the career that works for you. You don't want to be a slave to it.
No, indeed. I'm just going to read these out quickly. Super Bass has said, people love the Shield.
Yes, the Shield.
People say that on this channel all the time, which is why we're going to be breaking it down in September. Left Eye Lego, who's another YouTuber, actually said, "Looking good, Lance." I think he means you're looking good, Nicki. And thank you so much for that, Left Eye.
Thank you. Who's that, Levi?
It's Left Eye.
Left Eye.
He's a dude with massive dreads who's a huge film nut. You'd love him. Is a
And you
really.
got to have me come back in September for the Shield breakdown. That'll be fun.
Oh, I would love to get you back.
Yeah,
We're doing 2 episodes per show, so it will take us a while to get to season 3. But you can even come on as a guest to comment about your season 3. I think
I'm season 2.
Are you season 2?
Yep.
I've got.
Well, you don't have to check right now.
No,
he's like, I'm gonna check.
They're all here on the shelf. See,
I'm pretty sure I'm season. I'm pretty sure I'm season 2, but you know what? You could be right. I can't remember.
I think it's 3, but listen anyway.
Okay.
Because I don't forget I had to get all of these to cut clips and things. Just the other day. So we're so pushed for time. I'm really rushing here, but I want to talk about Lincoln Heights a little bit because in the African American acting community, there was a time where doing Lincoln Heights was a bit of a rite of passage.
Dude,
and
everybody came through our show. Everyone.
I had Milana Jackson on a couple of weeks ago.
She did Lincoln Heights, didn't she? I know her.
She said that you met her and you were a bit of a guide for her on that show, and she really looked up to you. And
sweet.
Had lots of lovely things to say about you. I also know for a fact that because I was told by sources that I can't reveal that CCH Pounder was very impressed with you on the Shield as well.
I love yeah, thank you. That's amazing. Shout out to CC. Yes, thank you.
She's one of my favorite actresses of all time. I did a list of my favorite character actresses on a blog one time.
CC is the best. She's just the best. I mean, her work on the Shield, her work, period. Her work in Baghdad Cafe, because I actually knew her before then. She's just a phenomenal talent. Oh my God. She's
what I would call a very giving actor in her scenes with people. Do you know what I mean by that? When that they bring that kind of actor brings out the best in you.
Yeah.
When you're working together, and so when you get someone like that in a scene to work with, it's just a joy, isn't it? It just reminds me.
But back to what you said, Lincoln Heights was definitely a rite of passage because we were on in 2008 during the strike. So our show, whatever was happening, we weren't affected by the strike in terms of the I think it was a writer's strike. So we were like one of the few gigs in town, and like everybody came through our show. It was fantastic. It was so fun.
It was I've seen quite a bit of it, and you were in most of the episodes, I think.
What happened? What? Hold on, I lost you.
Oh, I can still see and hear you.
Oh, good. Okay, great. Because let me try to get back to you.
There you go.
Hold on a second, because there we go. I'm going to come back, and I'm back. It's not like we're live. Okay, there we go.
No, it's not like we're live. No,
it's not like we're live. No, not at all.
So there's a publicity picture of you taken from last week. So
yes,
indeed. Lincoln Heights going back to 2006. I think you were in most of the episodes.
I'm in every episode.
Yeah, because I haven't seen it all, but I saw a big chunk of it because it was shown on terrestrial TV for a while in the UK, but I don't think they showed all of it for some reason.
Okay.
You know how that goes, programming and whatnot.
Yeah.
But it was pretty successful. I mean, was this a bit of I guess a regular job like that where you get to play character arcs and really explore those kinds of territory? Did you get to do that, or was it really like a soap fast turnaround, getting pages the day before?
Well, okay, so I mean, it is series television is always a bit of a train in terms of like once you get going, it's like the next show, the next show, the next show. I mean, so but it's not a soap where you are getting pages in the morning. Well, who are these pictures you show? Oh my goodness.
These are all the ones on IMDb. I'm just having a scroll through while you're talking about it.
So yeah, you do have character arcs. It's really, really fun to get to play storylines. It was also great because the show was really impactful, trying to talk about a real thing, a family investing in the community, the Cop Next Door program. What does it mean to invest in your community? What does it mean to build up your community? I mean, I just loved the conversations, and you had this loving Black family in a drama series. I mean, it was an absolute joy for me. And we got to play interesting character arcs. So it was really
Yeah.
fun. I loved it. It was a dream. It was a real dream job, to be honest. And it was the most regular character, it was the closest character to me I've ever played. Like, she's just pretty normal person.
That's good. It's good to know that you're pretty normal. I'm glad
pretty normal.
You must be the only person I've met in the industry who's pretty normal.
That's right. That's right. I'm the only one.
Definitely. I'm glad we've both got a similar dry sense.
There's a light above my head. She's so normal.
Is that available on DVD or physical media? Lincoln Heights.
Lincoln Heights, I believe they only put season 1 on DVD.
Oh, that's a shame. I wouldn't mind owning the whole thing of that, and then I can binge it at my leisure.
But I don't know. Well, they bring it up on Hulu like every. Oh, I don't know if you have Hulu in the UK. What do you have in the Hulu?
We do. I'll find it. I'll find a way.
Every so often it's back on Hulu.
So
I feel like they have it right now.
Would you say that your breakthrough role was getting cast in 6 Feet Under? You're sort of a jobbing bit part actress up to then, and I think that was the first.
Actually, my breakthrough role was the live episode of ER. I had one scene.
I saw you in that.
That was my breakthrough because that was when Paris Barkley brought me over to NYPD Blue.
Right.
And then I was in the Bochco family and I did every Bochco show. And that those same casting directors cast 6 Feet Under. So, but that ER episode really broke open the whole relationships. And I'm even sure that the same casting people or someone in the office cast a Shield. So It was really, it goes all the way back to the live episode of ER, which was amazing. ER was actually where I shook hands with Steven Spielberg, which is why I even knew my work for that one pilot they wanted me to audition for.
Right. ER was the show that made me want to direct television.
Oh, was it?
The very first agent that I had who represented me for writing and directing, I hired them on the basis that their number one priority was to get me a job on ER. And
you got to stay focused.
Yeah, it didn't happen, but it's quite difficult to break that wall when you're in the UK. I really had to.
Well, it's quite difficult to break that wall. Period. It's just hard.
Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware. But there's other shows. That was my number one go-to. I've got to watch this every week as soon as it comes out. ER. I was so invested in all the characters.
Well, I mean, the live episode was so fun to do because really it was like a one-act play.
Yes. One take, basically, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 45 minutes. Yeah, we did it all in one. It was one shot, and you kind of it was a play. Because the first episode we did the first live one, they had it live in Times Square in New York. So we were on the Jumbotron in New York, and it was almost like places, and then I had my whole routine just like I would do in theater, like how I would prep myself to be ready when my time came, because I was in the last 10 minutes of the episode.
Right.
So it was. I still remember that. It was one of the best jobs ever. That was really fun. I remember sitting backstage with William H. Macy, just chopping it up. I don't know if he remembers me from that show, but I was very impressed.
Well, I'm sure he does, and probably looks up to you now. I just watched Low Life yesterday.
Oh,
damn, man, that's a crazy ass film. That.
Oh, you hadn't seen it. Oh, welcome. Welcome to Low Life.
My friend Paul McAvoy is actually the guy who started Fright Fest.
Oh, no way.
Yeah,
oh my God.
I think you might have met him.
Oh, I met all those guys. No,
yeah.
I had the time of my life in London at Fright Fest. Loved it. And I can't wait to go back because we're all getting together to do another film. And it'll be very exciting to go back again. It'll be fun.
Oh, okay. Well, definitely let me know about that.
Oh, for sure.
The funny thing was, I was supposed to be at Fright Fest that year.
Oh my God.
And we won't get into why I wasn't, but it's funny because if I had been, we would have met then in person. But
that was an incredible. We were in a theater. I think it sat about 800 people. So IMAX screen. I mean,
Empire Screen 1.
Yes, it was packed. It was so. I mean, the photos I took just do not do the experience justice. It was the most thrilling experience. So fun.
Yeah, I mean that's the Empire Leicester Square, which
Yes,
is
exactly.
there are 3 cinemas in Leicester Square that all often do premieres, and that screen one, which unfortunately is now an IMAX, was the best cinema in London by far. And unfortunately, at some point they converted it into an IMAX cinema, but it used to seat twice as many people, and it used to be twice the size.
Oh, wow.
And this is the old auditorium. You can find
Oh.
this on YouTube, and they used to do a laser show in the cinema
Oh my
before
God.
every movie with all these lasers and everything, and green lightning would come down the wall. And the first movie that they did that for after the refit was Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, which I took 40 people to see.
Oh my gosh.
To celebrate my end of college thing, because I couldn't make the college ball, so we did Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade instead. That's that screen that you were in its heyday.
It was incredible, and the audience really loved the film. So being able to go around festivals all over Europe with that film was just a really amazing experience.
Quite a different role for you.
Oh yeah, it was fun. It was really fun.
I mean, we saw a clip of it at the beginning. I've always liked that about you. That, and I've said this to other people I've had on. It's always great to have that chameleon-like ability, where you can really show people something different, and they go, "Oh, yeah, really?"
Well, the biggest compliment I get for that movie is we would go show the film in the festivals, and then I would always come out after the film, and people were always stunned because they always felt like she's like, oh, she's taller, she's more confident. They just didn't understand, like, how was I that little woman, that small woman in the logo? And people are always, it's the best compliment, because it's wonderful. As I said in the beginning, my entire goal is always to wrap myself inside the character and just disappear. It's fun.
So one of the things you're doing now is you're diversifying. I mean, you've been an acting coach as well.
Yes.
We both cross paths when we audition. But you're also about to start doing a course where you're teaching people how to make these, which are called pitch decks.
Pitch decks, yes.
Here's a physical one.
Yeah, have it printed. Holy crap!
I did indeed, because it was an all or nothing project, so we were all in. I've got an electronic version of it. One of the things I noticed that you said, and it's so true, is that there isn't a make or break formula for pitch packs. Yes. Different companies want different things and different types of pitch packs for different types of projects. I mean, we went all out with this one. It's got period photographs of all the real characters, and as well as all the actors attached.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you have to know what story you're telling and to who, and you shape the deck to serve your needs. And the pitch deck class is just a webinar we have coming up on Saturday. And for anybody who wants to join in and go a little bit deeper on the different types, they can go to elevatecreativetalents.com, or you can go to my my Instagram and click the link in bio. It's all there. But it's a wonderful opportunity it's the most basic thing you need to get your project going. And then I have a master class coming up in a couple of weeks where I'm going to show you how to take your idea and develop it and go through production and raise money and marketing and ultimately get it distributed worldwide. Doing my first film, Summer of Violence, took me probably 10 years, maybe 12 years. Really, in reality, when I first started, was really when Lincoln Heights ended, was when I was shifting into wanting to direct. It took that long to be able to get it. So this course is a culmination of like 12 to 15 years of my work as a writer, director, producer, and trying to show people you can create your own content. And whether you want to create it yourself or you want to sell it to a buyer, the steps are all the same, and you still need to, there's so much you need to know. And I am so excited about it. I'm really excited about teaching these courses. Yes, there's the movie with all of our laurels.
Yeah, it's film festival laurels. One of the things I teach, because I teach a script writing course, and you know, people are always asking me, oh, how do I get my first film made and all of this kind of thing.
Oh God.
I mean, that's a how long is a piece of string
Yeah.
question because
Yeah.
there's no specific route. Everyone
Yeah.
gets there differently, usually by sheer determination, sometimes by blind luck. It's all combination of both.
I mean, I think sheer determination is a huge part of it, because it requires a great deal of resilience to get to the end. No matter how you start, to get to the end is nothing but resilience and determination.
So this is doing the film festival circuit, what I call the film festival circuit at the moment. Did you become acutely aware of how the film festival circuit of itself has become this kind of almost money-making machine, profiting off of filmmakers and applications? And there are various levels to it. And at the bottom, you've got a whole range. I mean, you'll know this because you live in LA and there's one every week of what I call, and I'm going to be blunt about it, nonsense festivals, which you're lucky if they even put on a proper screening of your film. And if you do, when you go there, the only other people that are at that festival are the other filmmakers wandering around looking for people to come and see their film, because no one's done any promotion for it, because it's not in their interest to do that, because they're not making any money that way. They're making money off you submitting your film and being there. Did you become aware of all that? Because it's
brutally aware. Brutally aware. You know, it's a market unto itself. You know, I think the thing for the filmmaker is you have to find a way to use the festivals as a launching pad to promote your film, to find your audience for your film, like start to see who gravitates to your film, like figuring that part out. Community connections is huge. I think the biggest thing I got out of my festival run were my connections to different community groups who really resonated with the film and ultimately have become my partners in releasing the film. Now that we're about to release in a month or so, 2 months or so, they have been my partners, and I found them all on my film festival journey. And I think that, so the filmmaker, you know, and for some films, that may be your only theatrical release. You may never get to see it in an audience with theaters except for the film festival. And so but I would be very choosy about which festivals I apply to, that being said, because it is its own money-making machine. You know, you need a strategy. And that's one of the things that I cover in my my masterclass on script to screen is you need a film festival strategy that's for your film and for where you are in your career. Because it can be a lot of money, a lot of time. It's a lot. I mean, I was on tour with the film for a little less than a year. It's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
So you need a strategy. You don't want to just like, you know, you need a strategy.
Yeah. You got to make the most out of it. Well,
absolutely. Because you're right, you know, because most of the films they're in these makeshift they're not even theaters, they're rooms with chairs.
I know. I've been there.
Rooms with chairs. I mean, I got to tell you, my experience with Low Life spoiled me because I just thought we were going to be in these massive theaters with lines around the block, and you know, and it would be just wonderful. But no. You know, you do need to pick and choose, but the wonderful festivals are wonderful, but you need to do your research and you need to have a strategy and you need to work with the festival because they're at their core, they're film lovers. And if you can forge relationships, you know, it can really help create the distribution plan for your film. But I still recommend you have a plan before you start. So
was the story for Summer of Violence? I mean, because obviously this is going to be the first of many projects you'll direct, I hope.
Yes.
Was this the story you always wanted to tell? Was it one of many that you had percolating away?
You know, it was one of many that I had, and I chose to tell it because it was the least expensive script I had.
Okay.
Most of my stuff was action and thrillers and sci-fi.
Right.
And this was a character-driven drama. I literally, I developed it in the Sundance collab, and I
saw that.
So my whole point was this was my hope and for the film was that it would be embraced by festivals and it would do well. But I wasn't able to get into the top tier festivals like TIFF and Venice and Sundance with the film. Actually, I was in the wrong window for Sundance. I would have had to wait a whole year and hold the film back and then apply to Sundance to see if I got in. And we just ultimately decided to just kind of go with where we were, as
Yeah.
opposed, because if you wait a whole year, you lose that year. I mean, it's a long
It's
time.
it's a long shot as
It's a
well.
long shot. It's a long time to wait on a long shot. And so ultimately I don't even think I ever submitted the film to Sundance. So we didn't do the top tier, but we did some amazing regional festivals, and then the Austin Film Festival. Oh my God, amazing. But the story of it was, an experience that I had 1993 in Denver, Colorado during the Summer of Violence, where it was just a lot of gun violence, and I was living in the middle of it. We were all living in the middle of it. And I wanted to talk about the impact of gun violence. I always said that you don't have to be a victim of gun violence to be a victim of gun violence. And because it's still so rampant in the United States, I wanted to speak to young people and hopefully offer a voice of hope, a voice to help people keep going in the face of, it's a lot of trauma and a lot of tragedy, but, there is still hope on the other side that we can begin to shift the country where it's not so dangerous. It's hard. It's wild to even say that, but you can't not say it because gun violence is still pretty rampant.
No, listen, it's crazy. It's also getting to the point almost where the news got so frequent at one point that you start to become immune to it.
Yeah, but
it becomes this acceptable way of life, which is so not how we should be.
It's not acceptable. And I wanted people to look at these characters and look at this woman and see how this stuff can impact the soul and the psyche. I wanted to come at it a different way as opposed to political. I wanted to come at it from a more humanistic point of view, like, just looking at the heart of it, and a young woman who has the courage to keep living, to keep trying in spite of the darkness that's around us, and how her poetry kind of shines is the thing that keeps her going. And I'm hoping that it can be can give hope to people who are in the middle of it when it seems like overall society doesn't care.
Do you remember that seminal moment in American history where it wasn't that long ago? I'm thinking probably 2017, 2018. There was a high school shooting, and it was a big Parkland, right?
Yeah.
Parkland, because I've got the book, and the book's called Parkland. It's an amazing book.
Yeah.
And I think the girl's name might be Emma someone, and there was that moment where she went up to speak, and she just stood and said nothing for about a whole minute or something. And my God, I remember watching that live and thinking, surely now this has got to be a moment of change. And then there wasn't. And it it kind of, there was loads of discussions kind of went on in government about maybe we should take away some of the big guns, probably.
Yeah.
AR-15s or whatever.
Well, I mean, it's pretty impressive that Kamala is able to run and say in her stump speech at the camp on all these campaign speeches, she is talking about banning AR-15s, like period, full stop. And thank God, because sorry, I don't want to get into the
No,
don't get me started. Well, because we had a ban on AR-15s, and it lapsed, and they weren't able to renew the ban. And that's when murder, what do they call them? Mass shootings have increased dramatically without the ban on AR-15. So it makes a difference. It makes a difference, and people keep trying to translate banning AR-15 like they're going to take my gun. Like, stop. It's not the same thing. So it is an exciting time, because I think we've hit a pitch where, I'm personally I'm sick of being scared. I don't want to send my kids to school and worry. I mean, I remember editing Summer of Violence, and on the news, I see the LAPD swarming my daughter's high school.
Oh my God.
I call her. They're going through in formation, guns out. They're walking through the campus. I'm like, what the F? It's on like ABC 7. I call my daughter. I'm terrified to even call her because I don't want the phone to ring. What's going on? Is she hiding? And I call her, and she tells me, I'm like, are you okay? Yes. Where are you? We're hiding in the closet. It's unfucking real. I mean,
it must have been your worst nightmare. I can't even imagine to think what was going through your head.
And it's just no one, the child, the parent, you shouldn't have to live where this is Tuesday.
Yeah.
Just a Tuesday. Now, at that point, for our particular school, it turned out to be a hoax. So there was no shooter. So, but the police, did what they did out of an abundance of caution, which we appreciate. But I got there and there were literally like hundreds of parents. We were all in line around the school and everyone's wondering the same thing. What's going on? And because we didn't know anything. And it's just that type of terror that you can live in this country because it is so common. And you just don't know when you're going to get that phone call. And it doesn't make sense. We don't need to live in a society where there's that type of chaos and fear that could happen at any moment. Sorry, so you got me. You asked a question.
No, this is all good stuff. I mean,
right. We got to wrap it up.
I was conscious that I was just going to let you carry on talking because I was thinking, shall I remind her that the time we've gone over the time you said you had?
Yeah, no.
So you've got to shoot off.
Yes,
you've got to come back because we barely got started.
I am so excited to come back. I can't wait. So we'll talk about The Shield. We'll talk about when the film's coming out. It's going to be great.
Yeah, it's great that you'd be willing to come back and talk about The Shield because I actually wrote to Michael Chiklis and also Sean Ryan some time ago to thank them for inspiring me to be a better writer because of that show. And I learned so much about writing from watching that show. Final thought before you go.
Yes.
What would you say is your biggest takeaway that you would have passed down if you could go back and meet your 18-year-old self and you jump in that time machine and you grab her by the arms and say, "Hey, Nicki, now I've got to tell you something. Make sure you do this." What would that lesson? What would that valuable lesson be? Not that your younger self would listen to your older self, of course, because
the big thing I would say is buy stock in Apple and reinvest the dividends.
What about career advice? I was thinking more of that rather than here's some lottery numbers from the future.
I will tell you this. I'm going to say this. Every artist, I don't know, but every artist should really be looking at multiple streams of revenue because there's always been a feast and famine in the industry. Yeah. Career advice, I would have said, go for it. All the things that you think you want to do that you're afraid to do them. I would have gone to New York. I would have done some Broadway. I would have tried, to do Broadway. I would have directed that project that came across my desk when I was like 25 and I was afraid to direct. I would have directed it and just, kind of done all those things that came to me that I thought, oh, I don't know if I'm ready for that. I would have been like, you're ready. Yes, go. That's the big thing. Yeah.
All right. Well, expect Nicki to be arriving by hand glider when she returns to the channel in
That's
the
right.
I have got the trailer ready for your film, which I'm going to play us out. So I know you've got to shoot off straight away, so I won't be offended if you disappear. Listen, thanks so much. I know the time was short, but thank you so much.
No, thank you
coming on. And if we can do this again, and you could also be a wonderful guest on a whole load of other things we're doing. So
wonderful.
I would very much love to have you back. So we will talk. We're in touch. So the wonderful Nicki Micheaux, thanks very much. I'm going to be back on Sunday talking about Spartacus, the Andy Whitfield season 1. We'll be covering that, one of the best shows ever written for television, fantastic dialogue. But in the meantime, here is the trailer for Miss Micheaux's feature film directing debut. You did also do a short in 2010. Yes. I'm still trying to find it. Until then, speak to you all again real soon.
The summer of violence continues to take lives with the death.
They stole the summer, gave it a new name. I've been writing some poems.
This was part of the plan, an internship before your first year.
That's what you planned, Dad.
Here's your life. You're shacking up with that white boy. Next thing you'll be pregnant.
This is way too serious. I'd never even dated a black girl before, and I never wanted it to be my life.
Forget about your dad. Forget about Richie. You're gonna love Denver.
What about summer love?
I'll show you some.
Summer hope, summer dreams, freedom. That's how you see me?
Yeah.
Summer. They say violence is random, but it can't be random when it keeps happening on the same 6 blocks. killing the same black bodies. It's not random, it's personal. So stop saying it's random, because it can't ever be random. When it feels so damn personal to me.
We will be talking about that film again in September when Nicki comes back to talk to me about it. RRTNZ says one thing about being homesick from work is being able to catch another great industry stream. Thanks, Lance and Nicki, for sharing your insights. And RRTNZ, so sorry I had to read that out at the end, but we were so pushed for time. In fact, Nicki did say she only had between 25 and 30 minutes, and she still stayed on for just under an hour. So fantastic stuff. What a wonderful guest. So we will be doing a part 2 of this. That will happen in the autumn. And Nicki will also be coming back to talk to us about her time on the Shield when we're doing the breakdown of that season. So it's great that she's offered to do that. Gary Bolter in the chat. The renowned actor Gary Bolter from Australia. Love your work as well, Gary. Love your work, Nicki. And Atom Gray says, seems like everyone is catching something right now. Oh, yeah, we're all getting a bit poorly. Yeah, I'm with you on that. So, guys, that's it from me. I'm going to wrap it up here. Thanks very much for tuning in. I have just confirmed today, I haven't got the date yet, but I have just confirmed that producer Gail Ann Hurd will be coming on the channel in August. So Gail Ann Hurd, producer of Terminator, Terminator 2, Aliens, Fear the Walking Dead, and a whole load of other stuff. Gail Ann Hurd will be with us in August. We've also got the actor, the wonderful actor, Lawrence Monason coming on. Lawrence has been in the industry a long time and has some very great insights. Really looking forward to having Lawrence on as a guest. He is coming on the first week of August. Some of you may remember him from the film Mask, which he was in with Eric Stoltz. He's also been in 2 shows on the Star Trek franchise, as well as several other film and television guest spots. Lawrence Monason will be with us in the first week of August. And then we also have coming on next week on July 29th, I have writer-director Neil Marshall. Neil Marshall will be with us of Dog Soldiers fame. He also directed Doomsday and a whole host of other films, The Descent. He also did 2 of the best episodes of Game of Thrones. So it's going to be great to get Neil Marshall on and talk to him about the various joys and woes of directing. And I know he's had his own roller coaster journey, much like I have in the industry. So having director Neil Marshall on is going to be a really, really interesting chat. All right, lots happening then. I've just got loads of news. It's great. I'll see you all again real soon. Thanks so much for joining us. Please, guys, share the stream, share the love, get your friends to subscribe. You've got friends in the industry, tell them about the channel. This is Industry Interview number 68. There are loads on here. Also, if you're an independent filmmaker, you're a writer-director, you've got an interesting project you would like me to promote, you've got a book series out, you're designing a board game, you're doing a comic, any of those things will be of interest to me. If they're creative and there's something I can see and I can see you're putting a lot of work into something, I am all about supporting those people just starting out and independent creatives. Do get in touch with me either via the Facebook page or my Twitter account. All the information is below. And we can see about getting you on the channel to talk about whatever that project may be. In the meantime, Don't forget to tell the people that you care about that you love them. And I will see you all again real soon.